Miracle this holiday season as we team up with the Children's Miracle Network at Christus Trinity Mother Francis. We know spending time in the hospital during the holidays is especially difficult for children and their families. We'll tell you how you can be a merry miracle and make this holiday a little bit brighter for families. But first, we want to introduce you to Hazeleigh, who was benefited from the money raised through generous donations to CMN.
Unicorn. Unicorns, the color purple, and kittens. Things you'd expect this thriving, energetic 4-year-old little girl to love. But behind those beautiful blue eyes and sparkling smile were a couple really tough years, not just for Hazeleigh, but for her parents who didn't know what was wrong.
When Hazeleigh was about 2.5, we started noticing her having some abdominal issues and complaining all the time of her tummy hurting, having some serious bloating, and we had a couple of instances where we had to go to the ER in Lindale.
But Hazeleigh's mom, Michelle Namani, says the unexplained pain just kept coming back. On top of that, she had trouble eating, gaining weight, and had anemia.
And so when meeting with our pediatrician, Dr. Everett, he suggested putting her on an iron supplement, and then we would recheck her levels at her 3-year well check. Well, at the 3-year well check, her iron levels still were bottom, ground zero, like absolutely no iron absorption.
That's when Hazeleigh was referred to Dr. Andrea Glaser, a pediatric GI doctor at Christus Trinity Clinic, who later diagnosed her with celiac disease.
Celiac disease is a very interesting gastrointestinal disease because it can present in a variety of different ways. For Hazeleigh in particular, it was specifically the fact that she was developing iron deficiency anemia that didn't respond in the way that we would expect. On top of that, she did have belly pain, and commonly with celiac disease we see a lot of diarrhea, but it's actually also common in about 20-ish% of kids to have constipation.
Celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder. The body reacts when patients like Hazeleigh eat gluten, which is found in wheat, rye, and barley.
When you eat gluten, your body forms antibodies to the first part of your small intestines called the duodenum, and they have these little finger-like projections, and in celiac they start to erode away. And the difference between that and simple gluten intolerance is the damage.
That's why this endoscopy tower, funded by the Children's Miracle Network, is so crucial. It's how Dr. Andrea Glaser is able to give patients and parents the answers they've been searching months or even years for.
So the endoscopy is a procedure where I take my camera and I go inside the mouth all the way down to the first part of the small intestines, and I take these teeny tiny biopsies so that I can look for that damage versus a normal intestinal villi. And so without the endoscopy, we really can't make the official distinction between true celiac disease or gluten intolerance.
It's important for celiac patients to remove gluten from their diet because it can have damaging effects if not treated.
It can present much later on with these sorts of difficulties such as infertility. You can have delayed puberty, short stature. Sometimes they will have hair loss, broken bones, really bad tooth cavities, and then later on in life they can have the long-term effects of chronic anemia, so congestive heart failure or other things like that.
The Namanis are now 8 months into their gluten-free journey, and little Hazeleigh's learning what she can't and can eat.
Popcorn is good for me. It's gluten-free.
Hazleigh's parents are just thrilled to see her happy and healthy again.
I want to encourage any mom, any parent that to not be afraid to be an advocate for your kid. Trust your gut. You have people in your backyard and in your community that are here to help you and your child and your family. And I couldn't be more grateful for that.
And for caring physicians like Dr. Glaser.
So when Hazeleigh had her scope done, Dr. Glaser, she wore a unicorn shirt that day, and our unicorns, besides Anna and Elsa, are our favorites. And so in order to help Hazeleigh feel better, she allowed her to keep her unicorn shirt on during the procedures.
Of course, Dr. Glaser didn't forget their shared love of unicorns, gifting Hazeleigh one to make another day in the clinic just a little easier. With another Merry Miracle, Dana Dixon, CBS 19.
And Hazeleigh, you got a beautiful little smile. You keep on fighting. And if you want to be a Merry Miracle for a child spending the holidays in the hospital, just scan that QR code or visit merry-miracles.com to donate. Every single dollar will stay right here in East Texas to help those local kids and their families.